All right, so we're heading on into our round 3 time-shifted feature match here. We've got Pi versus Jim Davis again. So we saw Davis earlier
Okay.
today in one of our rounds playing this Naya constellation deck. This looks really sweet. And we have, looks like, I believe Pi's playing Esper Party here.
All right. Got to raise that roof over here. We got a party.
So one of the party payoffs in both of Pai's hands here are starting their mulligans. The Spoils of Adventure there. One of those cards they're probably going to be looking for to help them unmulligan here after they're taking a couple mulligans to start.
I dare you to say party payoffs from Pi 10 times fast there, Jeff.
Party payoffs from Pi. Party payoffs from Pi. Party
Nailed it. Nailed it. That's commitment right there.
We have a card that I really like here from Pi on their 2-drop here. The Watcher of the Spheres here, a bird wizard. That's a 2/2 flyer that makes their other flying things cheaper. So filling that party mechanic in, but then also making things like Linval a little bit more cost effective to put down into play.
Yeah, brutal to see so many just devastating mulligans from these blue-white X style party decks, because I think they're very interesting. But when when we're left with these kind of options, when we're down to 5 already, it's tough to see them fully in action.
Yep. Yeah, it's and I think part of that too is we saw the mulligan happen where their mana wasn't quite functional, and that's definitely a symptom of the fact that we don't have a blue-white dual land as of yet, right?
Or gone. So even with pathways coming out that are supposed to help certain decks, Azorius is one of the decks that actively got hurt, And we did see a lot of this from Pi in the opening hands that I saw. Was just a lot of double face cards that only produced 1 mana. Like they had one of their hands was a bunch of gold cards and just a blue land and then a blue shock land or a blue double face card. And that just adds for some problems. So I do think people overdo some of these double face cards early, and I think it's going to be something that everybody scales back a little bit. But it could also go the other way, though. That's the crazy thing. It could be people aren't doing it enough, and they add more by the end.
Pi having a pretty good start for 5 cards here. So we see Jim kept more cards in their opener, but they don't really have anything that interacts with these flyers. And we see kind of similar to the Blue-Black Rogue gameplay that we saw in the earlier round, where we've got 5 evasive power here and nothing on Jim's side to do about it. So we're just going to get beat down over the course of a few turns. And second Spoils of Adventure, not really what you're looking for.
No, not really right now. A powerful card. I haven't seen it in action, but yeah, definitely powerful. But yeah, we were talking about this last time Jim was playing, and we saw the crazy things that Jim was doing towards the late game. But here is the cost. Once again, this early game is nothing to write home about. This is not too impressive to start.
Yep. And I guess Pi is kind of in the enviable spot of their lands are good draws and their spells are good draws, which is a decent place to be. Like anything outside of like the 3rd copy of Spoils of Adventure is like a pretty good pickup on Pi side of the board next turn.
Yeah, that would be a tail, totally. Okay, but now we're kind of going off here with Jim, and this is the type of deck that just snowballs out of control really quickly when you don't interact. And to be fair, neither player really is in the market for interacting with either one, so it's just going to be who does the thing better. And the person that does the thing better usually starts with 7 cards instead of 5.
You're not wrong. That Dryad of the Grove there, not only providing color fixing, but also a second land to get down here. So we could see Jim deploy a second enchantment this turn to get some more card draw going and make that Citizen Champion even larger. It draws cards with that Wanderer there, the Constellation card.
Yeah, that gets the lands, right? But they don't trigger off themselves. Yep. Limited, a nice limited medium-ish card here. Jim's putting to good use.
Excuse me, it is now a constructed staple, Mr. Baumeister.
Sorry, Jeff. Sorry.
And are these Spoils instants? Yeah, it looks like it. Okay.
Oh, wow, okay. So no need to spoil the fun now.
Okay, and again, this is an open deck list tournament, so if you're on Jim's side of the table, you could probably assume Pi's either on blanks or on spoils.
Mm-hmm.
See that?
Yep, 100%.
Felidar Felidar Retreat coming down. Definitely some big Field of the Dead vibes with this card. A card that makes 2/2s when you play lands. But
Yep,
honestly, with the little bit of board Jim has already, the second line of text on this card might even just be more powerful, right? Like your lands
for
put counters on
sure.
everything.
I mean, is there a chance that we just have lethal? Like, I mean, that's so two lands is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All Jim has to do is play two enchantments and it's lethal right now.
Wow. Now, the spoils does gain 3, right?
All right,
It
then
does, yep.
correction. He needs to play 5 enchantments, which is not possible. So it's not going to be this turn, which will give Pai the option to draw something to get those last 2 points of damage over. Now, is there a something to actually draw to?
The Watcher gets bigger when you have flying things enter under your control.
Yep, you're right. You're
So
right.
we could see that happen if we hit a couple of flyers.
Yeah, and honestly, Jim had a serious problem with that hazard land coming into play tapped. He could essentially lock this game up by casting the Banishing Light, but since that last land was a tap land, not able to banish the 3/3 and gives Pai a chance to draw out of this, and a pretty good one at that.
Man, we're
Oh,
we're so close there. The Glasspool Mimic
oh,
can give us one extra point, and if
we
you're
just needed anything.
if you're on Pai's side, you're like, I mulliganed to 5. We were so close.
Yeah, I mean, gives Pai a good feeling for the next games. A lot of flying, and Jim doesn't have a lot of ways to interact with
You,
that insane keyword.
you can
So
see that Amaria's call being moused over there too. If we were just had one more land on Pai's side, that could
yep,
make 2/4 Angels, which would make the Watcher lethal. We're just so close in so many different ways, but just not going
yeah.
to be quite enough here.
Oh yeah, and the Felidar retreat giving him vigilance as well. I was like, why did Jim not attack last turn? What is he doing? But yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
So close, so close. Brutal.
I often say if you end the game above 1 point of life, you didn't use all of your resources efficiently. So kudos to Jim for using every resource possible there.
Very, very nice heads up play there. All right, so this is an interesting brew here. We actually have some pretty good interaction. Tactics is a great card. I bet there's a decent amount of humans here.
So unfortunately, this is our time shifted feature. So it looks like my person playing our time shifted didn't shift the scene. So unfortunately, we'll have to use our imagination on how Jim is sideboarding here.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough.
Oh! Wait, we got a scene. He realized he woke
Oh.
up. Thank you, past Mike.
Nice, nice.
He heard me. My voice echoed through time and went back, and he got it.
Nice. You got a good team here, Jeff.
Oh gosh, what is the spider called? What's the 3/5 with reach there and constellation?
Oh God, I don't know what it's called. But a powerful thing. 3/5, and you like get a 1/2 spider every time they cast an instant or sorcery. I
Endless
believe.
web, nailed it. Look at that.
Yeah.
So this is it's an interesting one. So it is a constellation, so it enables some of Jim's synergies. Pai doesn't have that many instants and sorceries, but just like the 3/5 reach body on its own is pretty reasonable.
Exactly. And I mean, we just saw end step cast a spell, draw 3 cards. There's, removal. There's dire tactics. There's that new fatal push card. Like there's a decent amount of targets. It doesn't line up perfectly. Where you usually cast those stuff before that comes into play anyways, but still has applications.
So Pai keeping 7 pretty quickly here. We see a 4 land, 5 spell. Sorry, a 6, 5 land, 5 spell hand. Yeah, 5 land, 5 spell hand there from Pai.
That's a weird sentence to say.
Yeah, it is.
You're like,
yeah.
oh, do we just start with 10 cards in hand now in 2020 Magic, or
Yep, it's a whole new world.
All right.
But we see that third land rolling off the top for Jim there too, which is pretty good. That's what you're looking for with your Lotus Cobra.
Yep, that was huge.
What is this? What is this cleric called? Is it a priest?
Archpriest of Iona.
Yeah, look at that. So we
Yeah,
got
this card's nice.
one of the better party payoff cards here. If you're able to get up to a 4 party, this is not only a 4/2 for 1, eat that wild Nicoddle, but also gives something evasion and adds that flying pressure that you're able to put forward.
Yeah, I'm pretty interested to not want to take three from that awakening, get a mimic down, and then all of a sudden you copy the Watcher, and that boosts the priest as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, because it's a rogue in addition to it. Huh.
Yeah,
We see
that would have been a sick play, right?
we see maybe prioritizing keeping up concerted defense here with the
Okay.
Lotus Cobra. We could expect a potential 4 mana spell that maybe this not quite spell pierce could tag. Obviously, getting pretty punished with the Citizen Champion coming down.
Yep, yep. I mean, honestly, if we didn't top deck that champion, we were going to drop a retreat here almost assuredly. So yeah, a little unfortunate just how that worked out. But now we get to do this play this turn. Only missed a little bit of damage, but
Yep. And honestly,
uh,
these evasion decks with a little bit of disruption in a really good spot. I expect we'll see another Glasspool Mimic come down next turn and push another 6 points of damage in the air. Going to close this game out pretty quickly.
yeah, that's nice. And you were saying something that resonates with me here. The Archpriest of Iona here is one of those party cards where you don't need a full party, but just look at this right now. 1 mana, 3/2. It's dealt like 7 damage, and it's not like we're completely partied up. And if you do completely
Yep.
party up, that card's insane, giving something flight.
Yep. And that's the key to which of these cards are going to be constructed playable and which of them aren't. Definitely is
Yeah,
like, okay, it's fine on its own, and then like when you hit all of the bells and whistles, it's absurd.
exactly. You don't want to play party cards that rely on being good completing the party because it's going to be too hard to do.
Now, concerted defense here, notably being better than Spell Pierce. This is a counter unless Jim can pay 3, which he cannot. So
Okay.
had this been actual factual Spell Pierce, Lotus Cobra would have made that retreat resolve, but it wasn't, so
Yeah.
couldn't here.
Yeah, that's impressive. That's impressive. Is that any? Oh yeah, it's up here. I
Oh,
will do the reading here. That yeah, that's a really nice spell.
yep, it's at a minimum a force spike, very stubborn denial esque for people that
Yep.
played with that card. A little bit different condition, but otherwise still good.
And I mean, what this card screams out to me is being able to play an aggressive curve and then hold up one and say, "Oh, you're going to tap out for Ugin or Genesis Ultimatum. Get wrecked, Omnath deck."
Yep.
And that gives me hope. You know, that gives me hope because that's the way you need to answer these really powerful Cobra decks is with pressure mixed with key disruption.
Yep.
Just disrupting them, you know, then they just go with the Uro plan. You know, you really have to combine both aspects here.
Pai trying to sit and figure out exactly what they want to do this turn.
Yep.
So it looks like we got Glasspool Mimic happening whilst holding up Brazen Borrower's Bounce, which seems pretty good. I imagine we're going to copy another Watcher of the Spheres here.
There's no way to actually assemble the full party here, right?
There is not. Yeah, we are
Yeah,
missing
okay.
Warrior, unfortunately, on this current board.
Okay. Is set champion is not a warrior, is it? Because I think you can copy anything with the mimic, right?
The Mimic is only your stuff still.
Okay. Uh-oh.
So
Oh, I guess
yep,
we're gonna bounce.
we're gonna bounce it. Yep,
Okay.
and we're gonna force the trade with the Lotus Cobra here, and then I think we're probably too far gone. Jim's not playing anything like Shatter the Sky, I don't believe.
Yeah, I
Let
don't
me
think
double
so.
check.
Yeah, I think we're done here.
Yeah, no sweepers even post board in Jim's deck, which makes a lot of sense. Jim's deck is pretty creature play to the board based, so
Yep, 100%. There's not really any Wrath style effects that still preserve your battlefield. That's the market that Jim really wants to be a part of. And I mean, the one thing is like Storm's Wrath, I guess, could maybe not clean up your champions, and you could do something with that, but not really. The majority of Jim's deck is red, so that doesn't seem great either.
so Jim gonna get to be on the play for this third game here. That's it's a lot of Wanderers.
Wow.
No,
I guess you put them in your deck to draw them, but
no third land here, but I mean, like, if you find the third land, the Wanderers with the enchantments are going to draw you all the ones you could want.
yeah. It's a little awkward. It's like, yeah, this card really helps out my mana, but if I need mana to find more mana, like it's slightly awkward in that regard, but still a very powerful card, and we've seen Jim do some good work with it.
We see Pai keeping a 5-spell, 3-land, 6-card hand here on the left side of our board.
You love that, don't you?
It's just do it. Figure it out. The numbers is one One thing I mentioned that I hope Arena does at some point, I love how Arena auto sorts your lands to the left side of your hand. I hope they start auto sorting like land split card spells, because like it's hard to parse really quickly what's what.
Yeah, and I've been running into a bit of a struggle. So I maybe I'm the minority on this, but I always organize my arena hands from converted mana cost, biggest on the left to land, and I'm really struggling on how to organize my
where
hands these days. I'm like,
where do
do
they
I
go?
think this is going to be a land? I'll put this by the land pile. Okay, but it costs 7. Yeah, it's been a struggle.
So Jim finding their third land up top. So we've got a myriad of choices here. We could play more Wanderers. We could play Dryad plus Champion. Do you play Champion before the Dryad so you can trigger your Champion? A lot of different decisions here.
And it seems like the best play with the highest ceiling is get the champion down first, but then if a removal comes down, then you're wasting your next turn to just play something to try to find a land. So it's a tough choice. I think I like the champion, but I could see either way. And the beatdowns.
So Champion coming down here. What is this rogue? He gets unblockable or something. That's the Trap Finder, I think. Nimble
Hmm.
Trap Finder. Let's pull that one up. So two
Let's
one for
pull that one
two.
up. Yeah.
Can't be blocked if you had a cleric, rogue, warrior, or wizard enter the battlefield this turn. So any creature played by Pai's gonna make that unblockable. And then if you have a
Wow.
full party, your creatures can trip when they deal combat damage.
Jesus.
That's
That is a nice one.
that is some
That's a
text.
nice one. Yeah, no kidding. That's a 2020 card right there. I'd be like, okay, let me get my reading glasses to check out these magic cards.
So we see Brazen Borrower happening here in response to the Dryad to deny the card draw off the champion. Obviously, still going to get to Impulse and find a land with the Wanderer, so denying the random draw, but still getting the land here on Jim's side.
Yeah, the more I'm checking out Jim's deck, the more and more I'm starting to like it. These are some really nice synergies that he's able to do here.
If we find a third land or a sixth land next turn from Jim off the top, he can curve Champion into Valakut Exploration, which seems pretty slick.
Yeah, no, that seems excellent.
Valakut Exploration, another one of those pieces of card advantage based around the landfall mechanic while also satisfying those constellation requirements that Jim's deck has going on here. Not a land, but Birth here. Gonna potentially draw, guys, I can draw 4 cards. It's gonna draw Plains, it's gonna draw 2 lands, and it's gonna draw Champion.
Wow. I mean, I was a big Bertha Melitis fan before, but this is a Bertha Melitis deck.
Do you
Holy
spell pierce
fuck.
this? I think you have to spell pierce this, right?
I think so. Yeah, this card draws you 4 cards. There's that for sure.
All right, and we've got double black on Pai's side, so I'm kind of expecting this Thirst to kick and kill the champion here.
Yeah, let's see if they do it. But that seems great to me. I mean, you just shut down the card drawing engine. If you're getting a bunch of lands at this stage of the game, it's fine, but the card draw is what's going to really get you here.
Okay. So Jim's got the card advantage rolled up here still with the Valakut, and like these lands from the Wanderers via the Valakut exploration will turn into other spells potentially. Yeah, so like your card draw is very sweet.
Wow, this is awesome.
Yeah, real solid engine going here for Jim. The Dryad enabling multiple lands per turn, which enables multiple Valakut draws. Just like, yep, really seeing the core of Jim's decks humming along in this match.
Yeah, that's a nice one in Jim's deck. I really like that inclusion. I've only seen the Valakut exploration like be used in these green-red landfall kind of combo-ish decks, just as a way to just kill people.
Yep.
But Jim putting it to good use in a mid-range shell here. I really like it.
Banishing Light, very good hit for Jim here with the Watch of the Spheres coming off the top. Pai would have had a full party this turn had the Banishing Light not happened. And again, really going back to what we had talked about earlier, where in these constructed games, you're having a full party is going to be very rare. There's lots of interaction in these games. You're going to get disrupted very frequently. This is the norm, not the exception.
Yeah, and it feels like when you actually complete your party, you're winning that game anyways. If you have 4 creatures that are on the battlefield, it feels like assembling the party is almost like a win more scenario. So it leads me to believe that party is not going to be the most powerful thing that we've seen as far as a mechanic. But day one, I thought it was going to like break Pioneer. I was like, wow, you could just have a Mutavault and complete your party. This is bananas. But then realized you
Yep.
need 4 separate accounts of it.
Yep. I honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if some of these party cards end up slotting into some of those older format decks, especially things like the Arc Priest, like we had mentioned, where it's just like kind of a reasonable card on its own, especially
Yeah.
in formats like, for example, Soulscar Mage is a wizard that you want to be playing anyway. So like, if you're hitting those party requirements with cards that you're playing anyways, as opposed to playing lower quality cards, then they might be worthwhile.
Yeah, no, that's reasonable. And I mean, we see like humans decks in modern still be something that's very strong. So these tribal-esque synergies are powerful. It's just if they are powerful enough.
So Jim's hand, collecting a lot of
Wow.
lands in it, but remember, eventually those lands are all going to turn into draws. Ooh.
Yeah, no kidding.
Um, was that the best draw in Pai's deck? I think that might have been the best draw of their deck. There, you have Legion Angel coming down here. Another
That's a
evasive
spicy
threat
one.
that gets more evasive threats out of your sideboard.
This card is a really interestingly designed card. It's not clear to me whether or not you should play 1 in the main so you can max out on targets, play 3 in the main so you can always get 1 but draw it more consistently, play 0 because it's unplayable. Who knows? Like
Yeah.
the spectrum's wide open for me on this card.
It could be. It could be. I almost feel like I feel like if this is constructed playable, it's probably a 2 of, because if you're dedicating board slots to it, you want to be able
Yeah.
to draw it somewhat consistently, and getting 12 flying power out of one card should be enough. But I agree with
Yeah.
you. I'm not sure if it's worth the board slots.
Well, Pai agrees with you because it is a 2-2 split in their list, and it's looking decent here. But if we're looking at Jim's board, it's not just decent. Jim is going off.
I think Pai is going to have to retreat here momentarily. I think
Impressive.
the Felidar
Impressive.
retreat is going to pump up the jam on Jim's side of the board here, and just really getting to see this pop off here is excellent.
Yeah, I don't care how good of a party Pai's throwing here. Jim's definitely got the better party going on up there.
Jim's party probably has louder music and probably more alcohol based on the size of these things that are about to come stumbling over.
Yeah, it looks like we're gonna have to go have a talk with Jim about social distancing. There's a lot of creatures very close.
Yep.
Yeah.
These dryads are like literally on top of each other.
Yeah. And they're not really dressed. So this is a very weird, risque party that Jim is hosting here.
All right, we see a concession there from Pai on the bottom. Jim's deck is really sweet. I am excited by the prospect that there are competitive ramp decks that aren't Uro decks.
Yes. Yes.
I'd
be curious. I mean, Jim's playing this deck for a reason. He's played against the Genesis Ultimatum thing, so he must have a at least competitive matchup against it.
Yep. I think too it's going to be interesting to see. So I'm going to pull up here. It looks like round 4 has paired. We're still wrangling our players into the feature match area, but we can take a peek here at some of the data.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Dimir Rogue's second most played archetype has climbed itself up to that 27% match win rate so far. There was only one direction we could go from here, Corey.
I don't know about that.
We're heading on up. No, I have faith. Okay, you just gotta believe.
And hey, one thing, the Omnath decks. I mean, of course, it's a large percentage of the field, but its percentages aren't necessarily super impressive. You know, I mean, sub 60%. These like Jeskai Luca, Teamer Reclamation, those numbers were high 60s. You know, and of course, small sample size. This is just day one here, but those aren't numbers that scream like, oh, we need to ban this yet.
Correct. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. So, in addition to our tournament, Channel Fireball is running something today. Star City Games has 2 standard tournaments, I believe, next weekend, if I recall.
Yep.
Their last qualifier and their second day championship event. So, there's going to be a lot of data coming out of that, as well as people playing on the ladder. It's going to be interesting to see where the format shapes up at if we have tools to deal with the Titan of Nature's Wrath.
Yep, and we're actually hosting another event tomorrow where
Oh, right, your
I'm
Bash
gonna be
Brothers
playing
event.
a little bit. Yeah, we're gonna be doing a little Bash Brothers stuff. I'm just excited to try. I'm gonna be playing some Yorion nonsense, so I wouldn't get too much coverage, that's for sure, because I just can't get away from Omnath. I love that card.
All right, so it looks like we are getting our players organized into the feature match area. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna run to the bathroom and fill my water myself really quick. So we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Thanks for hanging out today, folks. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with Magic real soon.